Good girl. Mhm. There we are. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody is doing well. Ah, crazy, crazy busy day. So, um, I just, well, we haven't had rain very much recently, and we definitely made up for it here tonight, I should say. I was literally just outside a few minutes ago because what I did, one of the things I was telling you guys what I wanted to get done was I wanted to get the setup for the rain catchment so that I could get these 275-gallon totes starting to get filled up, right? So I was out today. I had to make some stuff. I was running all over the place today, to be honest with you. But one of the stops I made at Lowe's. I needed to pick up another gutter, some more screws, and different stuff like that. So what I was focusing on was getting um, that first gutter set up so that the water would go right into one of the tanks. So I got the elbow. It comes off, so it comes out like that, and then I got an extended piece that goes down, and then I got one of those flexible pieces, and so I got that set up so that it literally is, it's about this high over the hole for the tank. I have like a screening mesh somewhere here on the property. Okay, I cannot find it. I was so irritated because I want to get that over the hole so it filters out so that like no crap gets in there in the water and stuff like that. Could not find it, and I knew we had this rain coming, and I'm like, I want to catch as much water as I can. So I was like, oh well. So I just have it open, and that going in there. So I uh, I went out and it was really coming down. I said, I got to see how this is doing, how it's working with the tote. So went out, went down, got down to the 275-gallon tote, and I'm adjusting the flexible plastic tubing part, right? Out of the corner of my eye, I see this flash of lightning, all right? And then, like, literally 2 seconds later, this huge boom, literally right over my head. So that lightning hit close, and then it was just this a huge thunderous boom right afterwards, and I was like, "Holy crap!" And I'm standing right out there in it. So that was fun, but there's a lot of waters going into. No, Hella was inside. JJ, I didn't have her outside with me. She was inside because of it was raining and stuff like that, and I just want her to get all soaked. Hey, Philip. Good evening. Good evening. So anyway, so that's how I mean, literally 5 minutes ago, I was out there doing that, checking and seeing how that's going, and so we have a lot of rain in the forecast over the next 5 to 7 days, and so I have eggs boiling over here. I'm making hard boiled eggs. So I'm kind of just keeping an eye on that. A couple more minutes, and I got to get up and turn that off. So another little thing that's going on at the moment. So anyway, yeah, just don't hold a golf club right exactly. But anyway, before we get started into anything, I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family friendly oriented channel. I would ask you to all please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches are going to boot you out of here because we are not going to tolerate it. Okay, so just putting that out there ahead of time. We want this to be enjoyable for everybody, so let's have a good chat. But I hope everybody is doing well. It is Friday. Week has gone by extremely, extremely fast. Like I said, I've been extremely busy. So a couple of days there, I didn't get. Well, the yesterday's video was messed up, and I heard from somebody else that they were saying that other people were having problems getting their video up on time. It would have been up on time, all right. It would have been up on time, but there was issues, so I like took it back down re-uploaded it again, which took like another hour and a half, and then it was still doing the same thing. And that's when I did the short saying, hey, I'm having issues with uploading, because it would upload the video, right? It would get the whole video uploaded, and then it does its a step where it calls processing. And processing usually takes like a minute, and then it goes right into, where it's live. And it was having all kinds of issues. So I have to remember that I need to watch that. So we're like been boiling now at least 3 minutes, so I'll give it a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to shut that off. But anyway, yeah. So it was a good day, very productive. One of the things that I wanted to get done today, and this is more of a, well, it's I want to get it done. Plus, I also, it's a smart thing in the in the big picture of things. My battery on my Harley was dead. 9 years. I've had the bike 9 years, and so it was done. And so I had to go buy a new battery. Now, two reasons why that's a smart thing is, with gas prices going the way that they're going, if I have running around that I want to do where I don't have to pick anything up, and bring it back here, I can take the bike. So, and so that'll make things easier from that aspect. And the road is much better now. So, perfect hard-boiled eggs, room temperature to boil and let sit for approximately 10 minutes. There you go. Well, they're boiling right now, so I'm going to give them like just another 2 minutes, I think. And then I'm going to turn them off and let them sit. So, but anyhow, yeah, it was like, so that was one of the things I wanted to get done today. I had some other running that I wanted to do. Like I said, picking up the gutter and picking up the other accessories that I needed to be able to try to make sure that because I knew this rain was coming, and I'm like, I want to collect as much of this water as I can. Worst case scenario, Ed, will Harley Davidson ever come out with an e-bike? I doubt that very much. I doubt that very, very much. So, but good question, though, Lone Wolf Prepper. That's funny though. I doubt they would do that. But do you wear a helmet? Well, unfortunately, there is a helmet law in West Virginia, just like there was a helmet law in New York. When I went to Sturgis, so yes, I do wear a helmet. But when I went to Sturgis a couple years ago, once you get out to South Dakota, there is no helmet law. So when I got to the hotel in South Dakota, I took my helmet and I set it on the table, and I did not put it back on until I left South Dakota. So I rode all over South Dakota with no helmet. It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. So what you have to remember is this, folks, okay? And this is what I try to explain to somebody. Let me cut this off. Hold on one second. What I tried to explain to somebody, if you are in a motorcycle accident at 70 plus miles an hour, all right, do you really want to survive that? I mean, realistically, because you're going to be one messed up individual. So, that makes me nervous knowing you'll be riding on those twisty roads. Please be safe. Oh yeah, the roads. There's a lot of twisty roads here. You absolutely have to be careful. Yeah, you can't really go, especially on the side roads that are really twisty. You can't go driving, super fast on those. So you really do. And then, like I said, these roads out here that they call 2-lane roads, they're really not 2-lane roads. So some of them. So it's definitely going to have to be. Yeah. So in South Dakota, I felt the wind in my hair. Absolutely, it was awesome. Messed it all up really bad, but cool thing, you get out to South Dakota, folks. Okay, so this is one of the things. As somebody who enjoys riding, so we get out to South Dakota, and the speed limit in South Dakota I do not play music when I ride. Nope, Terrence. I don't understand people. I'll be honest with you. I don't understand people that listen to music when they ride their bike. Um, I'm enjoying the experience. So, so I do not listen to music when I ride. I just want to enjoy my ride. But when you get out to South Dakota, the speed limit in South Dakota is 80 miles an hour. It's 80 miles an hour. Okay. So when the speed limit's 80, what are you doing? You know, you're running 90, 95. And we were me and my buddy Randy, who rode out there together. I mean, we're averaging 90 miles an hour uh, down the road, and people were still passing us. It's crazy, crazy out there. A lot of fun, but we passed the cop. Cop was sitting there running radar, and we passed him doing 90, and he never even blinked an eye. So Glenn said, "I've been watching since you had 7,000 people, me being one. What you do on a daily basis to stay in shape?" Um, like I said, I right now I don't consider myself in good shape right now. I mean, I'm active, doing stuff and everything like that. I know physically I'm doing pretty well, as far as that goes. But I could definitely stand to lose a few pounds. I'm not gonna lie. Definitely running higher than I want to run. It gets harder as you get older. I'll tell you that right now. There's definitely that factor. My weakness has always been sweets. I have a sweet tooth, and so. But anyway, Sean, don't even start, Sean. Heather told me. Heather told me you put on some weight since the two of you got together. So I don't even want to hear it, young man. He looks great for somebody who's like 45 years old, though. I tell you that. Sean Ryan looks really good for somebody who's 45. It's an inside joke. You guys won't get it. So Sean will get it when I say that. So, uh, but anyhow, I see you got your phone up going there, Sean. That's good. No, I just eat like a bachelor. Well, see, my problem is I'm a grazer. I've always been a grazer. I don't really sit down and go, okay, I'm having breakfast at this time. I'm having lunch at this time. I'm having dinner at this time. If I'm hungry, I just eat. And so a lot of times, I snacking, boredom, wintertime, not going outside, not being as active. I just eat out of boredom, and that's not an excuse. I'm not trying to make excuses. It's just a fact. So, but when the weather's better and it's nice, like I said, I left this morning. I was literally gone most of the day. I did stop and have lunch. Oh, I got to tell you guys this story. I already told Heather today. So I'd asked Steve, do you want to, head out with me today? I got running to do. At how fast does your motorcycle actually go? And is it faster than a street or a dirt bike? With my Harley, I've taken the Harley up to 120, and it had more. The speedometer goes to, I believe, 140, if I'm not mistaken. But I've only gone, not only, right? Only gone 120 on the bike. So I know that they have, like the crotch rockets. Those guys can do 160, 180 in a heartbeat. So, they go pretty good. But yeah, Delbert says, "Ed, I lose weight during the summer. I'm out working outside," and that's exactly what'll happen with me as well. Uh, you know, it is. If I'm outside and I'm busy, and if the sun's out and it's nice out, I want to be outside. So like today, the sun was out this morning, and I knew that rain was coming this afternoon, and and then I got caught in a traffic jam on top of it where they're doing some construction, and that just delayed everything. But anyway, I was tell you the story real quick before, and we're gonna get into the topic. I promise you guys. So we're at 211 in the chat. We got 115 on the thumbs up. So real quick, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate that. It really does make a big difference with the algorithms as well. So I thank you for that reason as well. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And I thank you for that reason as well. So anyway, so we were out and about doing our thing. The other thing I had to do, I had to get an oil change on the truck today. So, oh my God. So I'm going to kind of break it down a little bit. So we stopped to get the oil change. There was two vehicles ahead of us. It was like a 10-minute oil change. So like, guy says, well, listen, it'll be like 20 minutes and we'll have you in. I'm like, that's cool. So we just started chilling, doing our thing and just talking and everything. Get in there. They pull the air filter out. And the guy goes, here's your air filter. This is what a new one looks like. Would you like to change your air filter today? I was like, yeah, please. I mean, it was just atrocious on the truck. So got that changed out, got the oil changed. I run synthetic oil in the truck, so a little more expensive, but I don't have to change it like every 6,000 miles. So that had to be done. So I got that done. And so we decided we're going to stop and have lunch. Well, there's a restaurant that I go to. It's in another city occasionally. So I'm like, we're going to stop there. I said, have you ever eaten there with me? And he goes, I don't think so, man. He goes, and I said, okay. So we stop at this diner, and this young lady waits on us. And I look at her and I go, oh my God, she looks like Heather. I mean, tall, skinny. She even had the braid. She had one of the braid in her hair. So I told her, I go, I got to tell you something. I go, you look just like my daughter. And she goes, really? And I go, yeah. She goes, well, now you got to show me a picture of your daughter. So pull out the phone, show her the picture of Heather. And she goes, oh my God, we really do look a lot alike. And I go, okay. So now I got to ask you, go, how old are you? And she goes, I'm 22. And I said, oh my God. I said, my daughter Heather's 22 also. And she goes, wait a minute. She goes, your daughter's name is Heather? And I went, yeah. And she goes, so is my name. This girl's name was Heather. Now, how weird is that? I mean, she looked so much like Heather. Sweet, sweet young girl, too. Really, really nice. And I was like, oh my God. But yeah, same age, same name, very, very funny. So, but that was pretty wild. That was pretty wild. So, very coincidental. Like I said, just a sweet little girl though too. Just really, really nice kid. And but I was like, oh my God. Someone in my neighborhood stole all the mufflers from underneath vans. Wow. Yeah, people are getting very brazen. Very, very well. Terrence, there's no consequences for thievery anymore. You know what I mean? That's the problem. That is the problem. There is no consequences. They know. Ed, Ed, have you ever crossed someone that looked like you? I've had a lot of times through the years, and no matter what look I was going with at the time, I've had people come up to me and start saying, "Hey, hey Jack, man, how you doing? Good to see you." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about. My name is Jack," And they're like, "Oh my God, you look just like somebody I know." I've had that happen a lot of times. When I had hair, when I didn't have hair, the whole thing. I've had that happen a lot. So that's pretty wild too when that happens. So, oh, catalytic converters, probably the catalytic converters. Yeah, yeah, I'm sure it was what they were stealing. I've had people say that I look like Billy Joel. Yep. But yeah, it's I think everybody has a doppelganger out there, someone that looks exactly like you, you know. That looks like George Clooney. Google it. All right, well thank you, Full of Hope. See now, Billy Joel's not really what I would consider a good looking dude. But George Clooney is, so I'll go with the George Clooney. I like that better. But we got to give Billy Joel props, though. He did score Christy Brinkley, so we'll give him that. Anyway, thank you very much, Full of Hope, for the donation too. I do appreciate that. All right, let's get into. I know here we're 20 minutes into the live stream and have not touched the topic at all. It was really coming down here a little while ago. Yeah, sing a few tunes and we'll know. Yeah, I cannot sing. I can guarantee you that. Someone even was stealing the converters off of school buses around here, or off of school bus, big money. Oh wow, okay. Yeah, guys, if you want something to stand out for me, all cap locks. I see it better. If you have a question that you really want to have answered, if I can touch it, then I will. So topic, yes. Well, Peter, let's discuss the topic, right? So our esteemed president, and I use those words very liberally, has decided it's okay now to insult Japan and India, right? And throw them in the same context with North Korea and with Russia, saying that, and this is what a moron that we have running things. I'm sorry, but this is my opinion. Okay, he's sitting here and he is insulting India and he's insulting Japan, saying that they're xenophobic and that they're not big into immigrants coming into their countries, and and all that, and how our economy is so strong and it's doing so well, and it's a big part of that is because we're allowing all these immigrants to come in here and yada yada yada, right? Where Japan and India are not allowing a lot of immigration, a lot of people coming into their countries, and he goes, their economies are stagnating because of this, but we're doing great. Now I'm going to tell you what, folks. Okay, I'm going to tell you what, I'm giving you my opinion here. All right, these wonderful immigrants that we're allowing to stream across our southern border are costing taxpayers billions of dollars. And they're taking these people and they're taking them all over the country and they're dumping them off, and they're setting them up and they're giving them housing and free medical and all that type of stuff. But if you're an American, screw you. You're on your own and good luck. I, you know, Japan refuses all immigration, but that was a long time ago. Yeah, and so what? Another country who does not allow immigrants to come in there, or let's be more specific, okay? Another country that did not allow this mass exodus out of the Middle East to come into their country, that country was Poland. And guess what isn't happening in Poland, right? They're not having mass rapes of their populace by foreign born individuals who think that it's okay to rape somebody because of the fact that, you know, they're dressed a certain way or whatever. Let's look at Sweden, places like that have had a huge number of immigrants coming in there. That their mindset is completely different, and they think that it's okay. You know, it's absolutely insane, folks. Absolutely insane. But Poland ain't allowing that crap. And guess what? They're very peaceful in Poland. They're very happy. They're doing very, very well in Poland. So, geez, I wonder why that would be the case. But why would our president alienate people that are our allies and piss them off? Why would you do that? And Poland has a lot of Ukrainian immigrants. Right, Vlad, they're letting the Ukrainian immigrants in, but they're not letting the Muslim immigrants in from Middle Eastern countries. So yes, they're picking and choosing who they're allowing to come into their country. So there was a lot of talk about that Poland wasn't allowing the Muslims to come in there, and they said they're absolutely you know they're very happy with that decision not to let those people in there. So, but yeah, it's just people are going to have their opinions and they can think what they want to do. But like, if that's a country doesn't want to have them coming in there, then good. They don't want them in there. But Ukrainians, that's different. They're letting the Ukrainians in, Vlad. So you're 100% right in that. But what I was alluding to was the Muslim immigrants that were streaming up there. And again, the question I would have, right? Why would they not want? Why would they not want to go to a country that is Muslim friendly? Why do they want to go to Europe? And here's the problem that I see a lot of times. The problem that I see a lot of times is when you're looking at uh, you know a lot of these immigrants that come from Middle Eastern countries. They won't assimilate to your society. They want you to assimilate to them, and that's a problem. That's a problem. You know, Great Britain's having a huge problem with that right now. There's certain sections and places in the UK that you can't go to and act like you want to act anymore because it's basically run by Middle East, or I mean, by the Muslims, and they're having their own little rules and everything like that. I think I just talked about, I think the other live stream I talked about in Iran, that a woman was just sentenced to 11 years in prison because of the way she was dressed, because she wouldn't, maybe she wouldn't wear the hijab or whatever the case may be, but she got 11 years in prison. I'm sorry, but that's not, and why do you want to take, if you're trying to escape from bad stuff, why do you want to make that now, in the new place? I must say, by and large, it's no problem. Um, Hardworking, make fantastic food here in Great Britain. There are cities like Belford with Sharia law. Wow, yeah. See, and that's a problem. That is a problem. What do you think the outcome of the Ukraine war will end? Well, Russia's going to win that, guys. It's just a matter of time. It is a matter of time. There's absolutely no doubt. You know, I sound like AOC. How do I sound like AOC? Would you care to elaborate, Lori? I don't know what. I'm curious to hear what you have to say. How do I sound like her? But people don't want to. Like I said, the United States is a melting pot. It's always been a melting pot. You have, like I said, again, I've told you guys, I have English, Irish, Scottish, Dutch, German, and a little bit of Spanish in my background. All right. If that ain't a melting pot, I don't know what is. I am a true American. That's the way I look at it. I'm an American, period. I'm not, this American or that American. I'm an American, first and straight. Yeah, you definitely are not, don't sound like Ayla. I didn't think so. I'm like, I don't know where she was coming with that one. But again, when you have Scottish and Irish, we're related. Never know, full of hope. Never know. Yeah, the kids, their mother is pretty much full-blooded Scottish. Her father was, his last name. My ex's father, his last name was McPhail, Malcolm McPhail. So, you know, and so you don't get much more Scottish than that. So that's why Heather was named Heather. Very Scottish. So yeah, I know. Oh my! So I gotta tell you a story that's related to the naming of Heather. So Amy had wanted to name Heather Rhiannon, which is a Scottish goddess. Okay, and I was like, absolutely not. I don't like that name. We're not naming her Rhiannon. Okay, and so when Heather got a little bit older, uh, you know, Amy gets in her ear and she says, oh, tell Daddy you want to be, Rhiannon. You don't want to be Heather. So she says to me, Daddy, I don't want to be Heather anymore. I want to be Rhiannon. I said, oh, you don't like your name Heather? And she goes, no. And I said, okay. I said, I'll give you a new name. I said, from now on, I said, I'm going to call you Squanch. So I started calling her Squanch instead of Heather. I mean, it took like 3 days. And she's like, Daddy, I don't want to be Squatch anymore. I want to be Heather. That was the end of that. That was the end. She never said she wanted to be a different name other than what her name was ever again. But that was pretty funny. So, uh, well, on my grandparents, my grandfather, on his side, he was a Dutchman. My grandmother was German, and then on my father's side was well, and on my grandmother's side, I get a little bit of Spanish. Her great great grandfather was a sea captain, and he had married a woman from Spain, so that's where the Spanish comes in. But then on my dad's side was, English, Irish, and Scottish. So that's where all that comes from. Like he used to love, he'd play the bagpipe, or not, he didn't play him, but he listened to him all the time. So, but but yeah, it's just that's we need to come together as human beings. That's the thing. Like even in this country, there's only two countries in the world, folks, and I know I've mentioned this before. All right, only two countries in the world that use race. Two countries in the world that use race. The United States is one, right? You try to separate everybody. Everybody's got to be, they're Indian or they're white or they're black or they're Spanish or whatever the case may be. We're one of the few. There's only two. There's only two. Can somebody tell me? And I know I've done this before, but we're going to do this again. What is the other country that separates by race other than the United States? I'll give you guys a minute to put your guesses in the chat. So I'll give you a minute to do that. Nobody's even close yet. Nobody's even close. Ah, Katrina. Very good. Katrina has the right answer, folks. South Africa. South Africa. All right. Those are the only two countries in the world that use race to separate people. So, and that was when the white minority was in charge in South Africa with apartheid and all that type of stuff. So yep. So South Africa in the United States, that's great company to be in. We should be proud of that. We need to be Americans first. Be proud of what your heritage is. I don't care. Like I said, honestly, I could care less what your heritage is. If you're a decent human being, that's all I care about. That I base my judgments, personal judgments, on character. If you are an a-hole, I don't really care what color you are. An a-hole is an a-hole. I don't have the time or the energy to deal with that, and I'm not going to. I just avoid people that act a certain way. But if you're a decent human being and you're respectful and you treat people with dignity, then like I said, I care less what your background is, where you're coming from, and all that type of stuff. I don't like when people try to push their views on other people, and I absolutely have always had a problem with that. As a nonconformist, most of my life, um, you know, why do we have to be one that goes by skin tone? I have no idea. I have no idea. But again, what we need to do in America is people say, "Oh, what are you?" That's what we need to be saying first. I may have German descent and I may have Dutch descent or whatever else, like what I have, but I'm an American first. I was born here. You know, this is where I grew up and became a man and the whole 9 yards. And I love my country. I'll tell you, I will say it a million times, guys. I love my country. Cannot stand my government, the corruption, and they get caught all the time, right? They're getting caught all the time. So it's not like I'm saying anything that's not true. It's like when I was in New York, the corruption in the New York government was unbelievable, unbelievable. So yeah, that's our family history, but not our nationality. Exactly. You know, all of our ancestors came here for a reason. They came here for a reason. Masters on the college campuses. I think they should all be expelled, Lori. If they okay, given a chance, like they were given a chance, and they said if you do not break this up and and stop these protests, you're going to be expelled. Period. End of story. And then in most of those protesters were not even college students. Do you guys know that? Some of those protesters were paid agitators, professional protesters. So, the kids are being manipulated. I mean, they're being manipulated by these professors that are spewing their garbage onto these kids. And, so like I said, my opinion is you can protest whatever you want to protest. Knock yourself out till you're blue in the face. Don't block traffic. Don't do it, on the campuses. And when you're told to disperse, you disperse. And if you don't, then they should all be arrested. They should all go to jail, right? And they should all be expelled. Period. End of story. It'll nip that crap in the butt in a hurry. You want to protest? Go out on the street, across the street from the campus, and build your little encampment and do all the little crap that you want to do. You know, but guys, you know how I feel about protesters. I don't care if it's something that I believe in. I don't protest because, and I've talked about this. How many times? January 6th is a good example, guys. It's a great example. Now, I believe that everybody should have had the right to go there and protest if they wanted to. But I also said at the time when somebody asked me, Ed, are you going to January 6th? I said, absolutely not. And they went, why? And I said at the time, if you guys go back and watch those old videos leading up to January 6th, I said, because you can be in the wrong place at the right time, you get yourself jammed up. I said, you end up in a jail cell. You're not doing your family any good. You're not helping anybody sitting in a jail. And boy, I might as well have been a prophet. So, might as well have been a prophet because I was 100% accurate on that one, wasn't I? So it's just, like I said, it's not going to change. People are going to think what they want to think, and that's perfectly fine. Oh, JJ got him, Carol. JJ got him. It's like I said, I'm not a campus here. My moderators know where I stand with the nonsense. We're not going to tolerate the nonsense on this channel. Why? Because this is a dictatorship on this channel. This is my channel. You don't get to come in here and act stupid and act like a fool and think that it's going to be allowed. That's just not going to happen. I have great moderators. They know where I stand with stuff. They know that I'm not going to tolerate stupidity. So you want to be stupid and do all your little stuff, go to somebody else's channel and do it. It's as simple as that. But, it's just, and like I said, I'm giving you my opinion. That's it. I'm giving you my opinion. And, you don't have to agree with me. I would love to sit down with anybody. Okay. I tolerate you. Yeah, just because you're with my daughter, Sean. No, but I'll tell you what, guys. We joke and we bust chops, but I actually like Sean, and he knows that. If I didn't like him, he would also know that. Trust me, he would also know that. But anyway, it's just it, craziness in the world all over the place, nonsense being allowed to happen, and it will come to a head. It will come to a head at some point. I'm just waiting. That's my biggest thing is, and this may sound terrible. I just hope I'm not too old to be able to deal with what needs to be done when the time comes. That's where I'm at now. There's a lot of work that's got to be done down here, folks, and I am not going to say that there's not. We got a lot of stuff that we got to do here to put us in a position to be ready for whatever we need to be ready for. But it's just it's all a process, and it takes time, and it takes money and all that other stuff. So none of it's going to happen overnight, none of it. But that's where we're at. That's what we're doing, and but yeah, it's just a lot of craziness, lots of craziness. But we'll get there. We'll get things done. Banking is looking really dodgy. Well, you cannot continue to have what's happening, and expect it to be. Sean, no, I'm not really. No, Vlad, Sean's not 45. It's a joke. That's a joke. That's so we were out at a restaurant, and when is allergy season in West Virginia? I think now. I don't know. I don't have any allergies, so I don't really have to worry about that. I know some people deal with it, but yeah, it's what was I oh, so we were at a restaurant, we were eating, and the waitress is somebody that I knew, really good person, really really good person, and so uh, Heather's introducing her new boyfriend Sean to Sue, okay, and I said to Sue, I said he looks really good for 45, doesn't he? And she goes, "There's no way he's 45," and he's not. But it was just that was part of the joke, and it just kind of stuck. So but yeah, fast food prices have gone through the roof. They have absolutely gone through the roof. Yeah, it's crazy, absolute craziness. Yeah, you can't go out anywhere. Do you think there will be a bank collapse coming in 2024? I don't know if it'll be 2024 or whatever it's going to be. If it's done, would it shock me if it was orchestrated to usher in a digital currency? It would not shock me. It would not shock me at all. So yeah, I just there's so many issues going on. $18 a Big Mac combo. Where's that, Terrence? I haven't seen it being $18. Where are you at? I mean, I know this stuff has gone up, but I know not around here. It isn't $18. It'd be cheaper to go to the store and buy food. Oh, California. Well, that doesn't surprise me in California. That does not surprise me in California. Yeah, the prices out there are insane. Well, gas out there is way ridiculously high. And why? Why is you know what I mean? Why is it so much higher? I know their taxes. I mean, like I know New York's taxes on gas are ridiculous too. It's one or two states, Terrence. Okay, but yeah, it's just when people ask me what's up, I say everything but our wages. Yeah, no kidding. That's about right there. Yeah, things are getting you know, things are getting very, very expensive. I don't know how anybody can afford to live in California, to be honest with you. Things are so ridiculously high out there. From real estate to you name it. It's just it's absolutely crazy. Oh my God, that was funny. The people that were submitting their things for the coin, for California coin, I thought that was hilarious. Hilarious. Well, they got a ton of homeless out there in California too. Because the weather's more temperate. But it's insane. Everything's gone insane out there. What I thought was funny, Shift had gone out to San Francisco, and You know, they robbed his van or whatever he was driving and stole all his stuff. And so he had some event that he had to go to, and he didn't have anything to wear, so he had to wear something different, which I thought is hilarious because, and again, now I was out there doing a motorcycle tour, and we had the van, and the van got broken into, and I honestly, I'll tell you what, to this day, the parking attendants in the garage, I think they were behind it. I am not. That's my gut feeling. Can't prove it. But guess what the police did? Absolutely nothing. You make the report, they don't care. They don't care. Not a big deal to them. Yep. So again, where where is the consequences for the actions? You know, if you know, okay, well, if I break into these cars, uh, how is Heather doing? Will she be going back to school as she planned to at one point? Great question. I have encouraged Heather not to go back to college, but I have encouraged Heather to go to a trade school. Better long-term job security, and I think that would be a better move. If she wanted to go to school, college on a part-time basis, that would be one thing. But I definitely have encouraged her to go to a trade school. So, but anyway, going back to what I was saying, there's no consequences. So if they know that they're going to get away with it and not going to get prosecuted, what's stopping them from doing it? So, crime just goes up, theft especially. When you have businesses that don't stop shoplifters, you know, there is a open door policy. Go on in and steal whatever you want, and they're not going to stop you. I was talking to somebody that was in theft prevention, okay? And this is what the way he explained it to me was this. He said, here's the problem. Like places, he said, I think he used Lowe's as an example. He said, here's the problem. He said, there were two employees at Lowe's last year, I think he said last year, that were killed by, oh, it's egg, holy crap, time got away from me. We'll do egg count in just a second, JJ, thank you. I just looked and went, what? Um, but I'm gonna make this point first. He said two employees were killed. One was shot and one was stabbed. Okay, with theft prevention, they confronted them. The people fought, and the employee died. And so their take on it is they're going to steal, let them steal. Try to keep them down to a bare minimum if you can. He said, but he said, you don't stop them because you don't want that confrontation. It's not worth anybody's life, which I kind of get that aspect of it. But if there were consequences for their actions, the theft would be down. That's always been my take on it. Or you ban them. You say, listen, you're banned. Don't come back here. You come back here, you're going to get arrested for trespassing. That's how you deal with it as well. That's kind of my take. So what do you got? 266 in the chat. We're at 201 on the thumbs up. Again, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to do that first. And I thank you ahead of time. It really does make a big, big difference with the algorithms again. And I thank you for that reason as well. So also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. All right, so how many eggs today? And yes or no for the white hen. So I'll give you guys a minute to get your guesses on there, and we will go back, or we will go from there. So I am going to get a drink while you guys are doing that. Another minute to get your guesses in, and then I will let you know. All right, guys, if you had the same exact guess, is a multi-time winner who's been quiet for a while, but he's back on top. DJ, with 5 eggs today and yes for the white hen, then you are absolutely correct. So congratulations to DJ. You have won absolutely nothing, but you are happy about it. So there we go. But again, like I said, it's just the behavior. See, here's the and again, I'm going to give you my opinion. The behavior of these college students has been allowed to happen two ways, for two reasons. College campuses are tolerating it, letting it happen, right? And the other one is how these kids are raised. So the parents, in my opinion, are a big part of the problem. Parents today, they want to be their kid's friend. They don't want to be a parent. You know, that's exactly the problem. You can't be their friend when they're growing up. You have to be a parent. And one of the other problems is nobody follows through on their threats of punishment. That's a problem. When you have a parent that says, if you do that again, you're going to get grounded. I told you to stop doing that. I'm going to ground you. Okay, that's it. You're grounded. And the kid like looks at them and laughs because they know that their parent's never going to ground them. So there's no consequences for their actions. If you correct a child when they're younger, and you don't have to beat them or you don't have to do that type of stuff, you punish them by taking away privileges or whatever the case may be, they learn and you follow through, they know there's consequences for their actions. That is a fact. That is a fact. So, if you're not following through with that, they're not learning anything. So then they go off to college and they figure they can act any old way and there's no consequences for their actions. There's always consequences for your actions. When they can identify who some of these people are, when they show their faces, think about this, okay? You you're a hiring company and you're looking to hire someone. Are you going to want the protester who screamed and yelled and spit at the police and acted a fool? Do you want that person working for your company? Because if they're going to act like that, then how are they going to act when they work for you? As soon as something doesn't go the way that they want it, they're going to have a tantrum. They're going to, scream and yell and whatever the case may be. Um, you know, I'm not hiring that type of person. So, no, like with the kids, it's how you raise them. If you raise them to be spoiled, entitled little snots, that's what they grow up to become. They are very entitled. That's a big part of the problem that we're having now. Teach your kids respect. You teach your kids the value of hard work and effort. Um, Teach them manners. What's happened to that in our society? Please and thank you. Yes, sir. No, sir. Hey, Denise. Ed, my mom actually pulled the car over and spanked me on the side of the road. She did follow through. Yeah, I guess she did, Denise. Thank you very much for the donation. And I really appreciate that. Thank you for the statement. I will tell you what my mom would do. And I think back on this and I laugh so hard when I think about it. So, my sister and I are 15 months apart in age. I'm older, she's younger. And so we would be in the car in the back seat. This is long before seat belts and car seats and all that other crap that they have now. Um, and we would be picking at each other. And mom would be like, okay, stop it. Stop it. You get on that side of the car, you get on that side of the car. And, then it would be like, we'd still go at it. Well, then this is what she would do with the left hand, right? Left hand, she's driving down the road. With the right hand, she's reaching in the back seat. I said, knock it off. Oh my God. And the best part was because I was on this side of the car, she couldn't reach me, but she could reach Becky because Becky was directly behind her. Hilarious. Hilarious. I mean, is it now as an adult looking back, thinking about how funny is that? But yeah, we would get whipped. I mean, I would there was definitely times we got smacked around a bit, but it happens. I mean, it's all part of what happens. I mean, my grandmother at one point said, "Okay, you guys," she said, "I'm sick and tired of buying wooden spoons." She says, "I know you guys are hiding them, burying them. We'd bury them in the sandbox. We would take them out and bury them in the sandbox because I mean, you've been once you've been whooped with a wooden spoon, folks. It's not pleasant. Not a whole lot of fun. Not a whole lot of fun. So, oh my God, thinking, but again, you know, we had respect, and if we acted foolish, we got punished. And so you just, you picked your battles, if you will, and you had fear. Like my grandfather, um, you know, my grandfather, he didn't play, so my mom is 80 years old and can still take me out. Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh, Don, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. Yeah, I got a few whippings in the day. I got it, and I deserved them. Like I said, I remember one time. God, I had to be about 16, and you guys have seen my mom. She's not real tall, okay, and I tower over her, and I'll never forget it. I'll never. I guess I swore or something. I think what I did is I swore, and she reached up and she slapped me across the face. But I'll never forget her reaction after she slapped me. Okay, and she slapped me hard. She slapped me hard. She took a step back because she didn't know what I was going to do. And I remember like going, "Ah, what'd you hit me for?" I would never put my hands on my mother. And she's like, "I don't want you talking using that language, blah blah blah." But yeah. Well, I was bigger. I was bigger than mom. I was all full of myself, all full of testosterone, being a 15, 16-year-old kid. Oh my God, too funny, too funny. Uh, yeah, I think back at the different things. Yeah, I can. I got. I'll tell you. I know I've told this story before. I want to share this with you guys one more time. So Heather was hanging out with a girl, not of the best character. Okay, I'll just put it like that. And but I said, well, until something happens, I'm gonna let her hang out, and stuff like that. So Eddie had gone to his mom's for the weekend, and so when he got back, go for a walk. Well, Eddie was always mad. Like he goes, "Well, how come I get punished all the time and you never punish Heather?" I said, "Because Heather never does anything that I need to punish her for. You do. You do all the time. That boy tested my patience, and I don't really have a lot of patience. Um, so anyway, now I'll tell you something about that. Well, I'll tell you that real quick, and then I'll go on. My mom said one day to me, "I hope one day you have a son that's just like you." And I said, "But the difference is, Mom, he doesn't have a dad like me." So I got my boy who was just like me, but I didn't have somebody there, other than my grandfather, is that authority figure to say, "Hey, that's it," to put the fear of God in you. Grandpa put the fear of God in you, but anyway, so they had gone off for this walk, and all of a sudden Eddie comes back, and he is and I was stacking wood at the time, um, and Eddie comes back. He's like, "Dad, Dad, Dad, Heather was smoking." I go, "What?" He goes, "Heather was smoking." And I said, "Okay." So I was busy stacking wood. So then all of a sudden Heather comes up and she's all like, "Ooh." And I go, "Heather, were you smoking?" And she goes, "Yes." And I said, "Okay, I'm busy right now. You go sit in your room and I'll be in a little while." So now she's got to sit there. And oh my, what's going to happen? What's the punishment? What's the punishment going to be for this, right? And so, I had to have time to think. And so I was stacking wood and stuff. And so I went inside. I made her wait like 20 minutes too, which had to be torture. And I sat down and I said, Where'd you get the cigarettes? And she told me the girl that had given her the cigarettes. I said, all right, I'll tell you right now, that relationship is over. She is not allowed to come here anymore. You are not allowed to go there anymore. Do you understand me? Yes, Dad. But see, here's the thing, folks, okay? Eddie was gone all weekend. She had gotten the cigarettes on a Friday. She could have smoked a cigarette Saturday, but she waited till her brother got home. I think, looking, at the situation, subconsciously, she wanted to be away from this girl because this girl was trouble. She was a troublemaker. She was not. She was a hard case, um, and she liked Heather. And Heather didn't know how to get away from her, and she didn't want to get beat up or and have any problems. And so she waited till Eddie was home, smoked in front of Eddie. Eddie told on her. She, and now I now it's my fault. Now it's on Dad. So she had to go to her buddy and say, "Listen, Dad said, that's it. I can't come here. You can't come to my house anymore. I can't go to your place anymore. So that's it. So we can see each other." And that relationship faded big time, and that was fine by me. Uh, you know, uh, but again, I think subconsciously she did it on purpose. Looking back at it, but again, when you can have the parent be the one that he's the bad guy. I would love to hang out with you and be friends, but my dad said no. And there you go, and that's what happens. So, but it just being consistent as a parent is important. There was no gray area with Dad, meaning me. Okay, black and white. Period. Here's the rules. If you break the rules, there's consequence. And I think I wouldn't let her hang out with that girl, and I think I took her phone away for like a week. She didn't get her phone for a week. It was something like that. That was her punishment. And it's the only time I've ever had to punish Heather in her entire life. That was it. Heather was a really squared away kid. She was always a good kid. And I will tell you, I put a lot of responsibility on her because she had to watch out for her brother and stuff like that as well. So when I was working nights at the time, and I would always tell Eddie, Heather's in charge. Period. End of story. Yes, Dad. Okay. And that was it because Heather had to be in charge, and she loved that role. I will tell you that right now. She loved that role. So. Good night, everyone. Have a great weekend. And remember, Google George Clooney images and imagine George bald, it said. Well, thank you, Full of Hope. I appreciate that. Get some rest. Thank you for staying up late with us. We really appreciate that. You have a great night. All right. We're going to do shout outs, guys. I know I'm like rambling on in this live stream, and it happens. We got Heavenly Hills Homestead. Ryan growing giant vegetables. Definitely check out his channel. We have Icky Can up in Canada doing his thing up there, living well north of Toronto, living off grid up there. You have Angry Prepper. That is Jason down in New York City. There is Alaska Prepper. That is Rudy. Rudy's a really good guy. Definitely a good channel to listen to as well. There's Alaska Granny. You have Sean James with the Sean James channel and My Self Reliance. Two different channels, same guy. Master Builder living up in Canada, living off grid. Really good channel. Definitely check him out as well. We have Demcad. I like Demcad quite a bit as well. There's Corporal Corner. You have Bjorn Hansen. You have 80K Man up in the Adirondacks. There's Bizariza Jizza, who does the Carrington Chronicles, a really interesting story. Definitely can pick up some tips out of that story as well. There is Marfugal News, Adam and Dax out on the West Coast in Seattle, doing their thing out there. Definitely worth a listen to. You have Magic Prepper in North Dakota. There is Wranglestar. A lot of good information on his channel. Definitely something people should be checking out. You have Red Poppy Ranch. There's Survival Lily coming at us out of Europe, letting us know what's going on across the pond. We have Kyle's Cabin. Kyle and Sierra up in Minnesota doing their thing, living off grid up there. There is Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods, husband-wife team. A lot of good information on their channel. They split their time between Michigan and Alaska. There is Green Greg's. You have Southern Prepper 1 with his Boots on the Ground series. We have Gray Man Prepping. There is Doug and Stacy. Doug and Stacy have been around a long time. Good channel, a lot of good information on their channel as well. You have the Nomadic Movement down in Panama, a nice young couple living off grid down in Panama. There is the Green Dream Project out in Arizona. Again, another couple showing you what it takes to live in the desert. Very interesting to watch their journey. There's Camping with Steve. Steve Wallace doing stealth camping. Really interesting stuff with him as well. More entertainment than anything else. Bush Doctor Survival. There is Monkey Works. We have the Needy Homesteader. She's been around a long time. Good channel. A lot of good information on her channel. Boss of the Swamp. Again, another guy, unbelievable builder. Definitely worth a listen to. I really like him a lot. We have Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Diamond is a good guy, very down to earth. Definitely worth listening to. Like his channel quite a bit. There is Patera with the Appalachian Homestead, another straight shooter. Somebody don't, she just says it like it is, and I like that. There is City Prepper. You have Lumina Acres. There is Suspicious Observer. There's Bear Independent. The Uneducated Economist. You have Bushcraft Bear in the Canary Islands of La Palma doing his thing out there. Really good guy. I like him a lot as well. You have Mary Greeley News giving you all the latest of what's going on with Yellowstone and earthquakes and everything else. I really like 30. You have Malachi's Corner. Truth Be Told with Tara. If you're going to get your weather, folks, there's only one guy you should be getting your weather from, and that is Ryan Hall, y'all. Ryan Hall is a great guy, very passionate about the weather, but he also gives back to the community in a huge way. And I think that's really, commendable of him. He doesn't have to do that. You have Russell Brand. Russell Brand, I like him as well. Gives you the information, lets you decide what you want to do with it. There's Deep South Homestead. Very family-friendly oriented channel. And definitely worth to listen to as well. You have The Outsider up in Maine. There is Betting on Alaska. A young man, 18 years old, starting his journey. Excuse me. Living off-grid up in Alaska. Just fun to watch him, get things going and doing what he's doing. There is The Fit Farmer. You have Prep Rebel. There is Simple Life Reclaimed. There is Townsend showing you what it's like to live in the 1800s and what you need to do. I think that's interesting. A lot of good information on that channel. You have The Prepared Mind. There's Pinball Preparedness down in Tennessee. You have East Tennessee Preparedness, The Economic Ninja, and last but not least, Little House Off Griddy. A lot of good channels out there, a lot of good information. I do believe we should be supporting each other. I think that's important that we do that. And there's a lot of good information out there. So, instead of hating on each other, we should support each other. That's just my take on it. So, but, and I know you guys put other channels in the chat that you like as well, and that's perfectly fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. Anyway, going back to what we're talking about, when you have allies that are supposed to be working with you, criticize those allies for their policies of what they do. You may not agree with it, and that's publicly come out and call them a xenophobe, not letting people into their country. They have every right to let people in or not let people in. It's their country. I think the majority of the people in this country are not happy with this current administration just opening up the borders and letting everybody and their brother in. That's a problem. That is a problem. He's trying to jumpstart the war machine. Well, I'll tell you what. It seems like, and I'm not saying that this is the case, but it sure seems like he's trying to get something going somewhere. Putting our people in harm's way, putting them in zones where they're going to be attacked. And it's not like it stopped. You're not hearing a whole lot anymore about the whole Red Sea and how, the Houthi rebels are, attacking ships. They haven't stopped. right? We just have new distractions. You're not hearing as much about, different events that are going on because we have new events to talk about. We have the whole protest thing right now that we're dealing with. And so, it's craziness. The whole thing is just absolute craziness. But it's not going to change. It's not going to stop. It just continues on. And that's part of the problem. That is absolutely part of the problem. So, some things to think about. Again, I'm going to always continue to encourage you to control what you can control. That's all any of us can do. We can get ourselves all worked up over this, that, or the other thing. um, World War III wouldn't shock me, to be honest with you. It would not shock me in any way, shape, or form. um, a lot of insanity. There's a lot of people. It's that thirst for power, control, the manipulation. If they can manipulate us, then they're winning. I mean, they can keep us under control. They're winning. So it's just there's always going to be issues. Um, Things are never going to always go. We can do what we can control is how we are ready for those events, what we can do to protect the people that we care about when those events do happen. It's just a smarter thing to do. It puts us in a much better situation. So, but we just have to do what we can, and when it happens, then it's time to act and not react. If you've been prepping and you're getting ready and you're putting things in place and all those type of things, when that time comes, you go, okay, here it is, we're coming. So now it's happened, and now we got to do what we got to do. And like I said, the more prepared you are, the better off you're going to be. Yeah, a lot of it's going to depend on how things go north towards the end of the year. You know, yeah, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy when the election coming up, and you know, and everything else. You know, so yeah, it's nuts. The whole thing is nuts. But anyway, let's do this. We are Legion because we are many. We are all over the country. We're all over the world. Where is everybody from tonight? Let's do that really quickly. We got Brad in Missouri. We got T up in Connecticut, Dawn in the UP of Michigan, Leesburg, Florida with Joan, BC, Canada with Janet, Okie Forge in Nowhere, Oklahoma, Delbert in Missouri in the Ozarks, Terrence Parker Jr. in Raleigh, North Carolina, Sean the Englishman from Chatham, Ontario, Canada, Fayetteville, North Carolina with Carol, Clyde is in Inverness, Florida, Morning Light in West Virginia, Emil in BC, Canada, Rolling Meadows, Illinois with Katrina, Ontario, Canada with Dave, Indiana with Susan, Palatico, Idaho with Janita, East Central Illinois with Ranger, uh, Juby Joe in Pine. We got Lori coming at us out of California, Sama in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, Central New York with Village Homestead, Mississauga, Ontario, Canada with Joyce, Somerset, UK with Lady Raven Wildchild. Glad you're staying up late with us. We got Dust Devil coming out of Texas. Let's see, Central Virginia with Janet. So, yeah, folks, we're all over the place. We're all over the country. We're all over the world. We're a huge, huge network of people. We got the Garden Life coming at us out of San Bernardino, California. West Central Ohio with Dale. Pamela and Ed from Greensboro, North Carolina. Very nice. So, again, we're all over the place. We're the ones that can make a difference now by trying to educate people, wake people up. I know sometimes it seems like a lost cause, but if we can wake one person up, that's one less victim that will be down the road. And I think that's important. We got Amy coming at us out of Tennessee. And so I think that, like I said, I think that's an important thing. Also, also, we're going to make a big difference after an event because we will be the ones that can educate people. We can help people, and I think that we should try to do that if we can. You can't save everybody. That's a hard thing that a lot of people will never get. You can't save them all. So you just do the best that you can, and you know, pick and choose when that time comes. You got to think of your family and the people that are in your groups. They have to come first. But if you're able to help, I think we should if we can. So anyway, I thought I saw something. Yeah, I had when I came back in, I had rain was all on me. I'm like, there's no way that rain is still there after an hour. So anyway, guys, I want to thank my moderators who do an absolutely fantastic job keeping the chat clean. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, that moderate for me. You guys are awesome. Very much appreciated what you do. And so thank you very much for everything that you guys do. I want to thank all you guys for being here, supporting the channel as well. And I've watched you for years, but I've only commented a few times. Thank you. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So, but anyway, like I said, it's I appreciate you all the support. It really does mean a lot to me. I enjoy doing these chats, and it's a lot of fun. So anyway, guys, remember we truly are all in this together. If we could ever really figure that one out and come together as human beings, we could accomplish so many good things together. We really could. But they keep us divided using race, religion, political affiliation. All those things are tools used to keep us fighting amongst each other. So we'll never focus on, which is big business and the government. That's the real problem. So, you know, let's come together and accomplish anything that we want to accomplish. That's what we need to do. If we do that, we're going to be in great shape. What are we doing? You come up and say hi. Come on. Coming up. Come on. Well, come on up and say hi. Come on. Now you're not going to. Any other time, you're going to come right up. There you are. All right. I was going to say, well, why would now be any different than every other time, huh? Princess. Also, remember, guys, to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really important that we tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Last but not least, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one stopping you from achieving your goals is you. That's it. If you set realistic goals and then set about to making them happen, you can do it. Stay away from negative people telling you what you cannot accomplish. You can accomplish anything. So be safe, everybody. I will in the next live stream. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.